Alright, so now that we're back, we've now got our survivor in place.
Something on your mind?
So now if we have a chat with Emily Frey the farmer, you can see that she's going to make a few new items for us. We can get popcorn, vegetable puree, ooh, interesting. And more interestingly, a seed bed. So now, once we actually get ourselves some plants from different zones, we'll be able to craft a seed bed. And as I mentioned earlier about the farm soil, it coming in handy, that's one of the reasons where it's going to come in really handy, is once we craft that seed bed. So instead of having to craft farm soil out of bone meal and dirt, and flower soil out of farm soil and then honey, which is a big pain in the butt, all we need to do to get both of those things is just to walk straight out our front door, and we can dig here or we can dig down here where the farm is. So it's a piece of cake. Now, another thing that I'll mention at this stage as well, and it's a little bit of a trick, it still works within this version of the game. It may not work forever, however. The reason that I'll show you that will make sense in a moment. So now that we've got that rake equipped, that's a new item of importance to us. What I'll do is I'll come down to a zone here that we're not too concerned with messing up. So what I'll do is I'll move on to terrain, and you'll see here I've got flower soil. So what I'll do is I'll put down a lump of flower soil, grab my rake, you'll see if I angle the rake upwards, I'm able to rake the flower soil in such a way that it duplicates. It's a little bit tricky and it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work the way you want it to. But in terms of finding a way to duplicate something completely for free, it's worth the pain in the butt. Especially if you're doing a lot of building. Now, we had one piece of flower soil when we started. Alright, take a look now. We've now got 12. So that's extremely helpful to us. And if you're at all concerned about the fact that you messed all your land up, all you need to do is just go back to your shapes here. You can just make it stone or dirt, which is what it was. It was dirt. Just fill it in. So it's almost a good little tutorial on how to build yourself for later on when you want to start making gardens and whatnot as well. It's a good way to look at it. Alright, so now that we've gone through and done a little bit of messing around there, we'll take a look at what we have in terms of missions that need
Patience and care, friend.
completing. So we just need some farm soil for Emily Frey, and we can complete her mission. So we'll go down here to the area that respawns. Farm some farm soil from here. All of this will respawn because it's outside of our building area. We don't need to worry about that, which is fantastic. We don't need to use that respawning or the duplicating tool that we were using before. Now if we pop in and see Emily Frey,
Come, share a meal and a story.
we make ourselves a seed bed.
Every bit helps.
What we'll do now is just equip and place that. Now ideally I'd probably place this outside where we're going to plant everything, but for the moment we'll just put it here so that we know what's going on. And you'll see now we've got a whole host of recipes. So now once we actually get any of the things here, you can see once I pick tomatoes, strawberries, whatnot. So that's why it's a handy thing whenever you're in a new area to make sure that you grab any of the new trees that you can, any of the new plants that you can, and bring them back home. You don't necessarily need to grab a million of them, but just grab a couple of them and you can bring them back home, and we can use this seed bed here and duplicate more of them, which is fantastic. Alright, so now that we've gone through all of that, so what we can do now is just make sure and empty everything out as much as we need to. And get rid of that stone. And also get rid of our coins. And probably our flower soil. We can organise everything a little bit more later, that's fine. Alright, so I think that will probably just about do us for the moment. What I'll do really quickly before we go anywhere and start off on a new plan, we'll take a look at our little gold chest respawn down here that we mentioned in our last little catch up. It's just here. So, and as I mentioned earlier, while it's great that we now got a legendary weapon, it's a level 3, so it's not really of any use to us whatsoever now that we're starting to rock some weapons that are a little bit better than what we currently had. So we probably now, we've had a look at that again, we can probably say, you know what, let's not worry about that spot anymore. Alright, well that's going to do us for this episode. Next time we catch up, we're going to take a look at the builders and see what missions they have for us, and then make some plans before we head on northward and check out what we need to do up there. We'll see you then.